Hey, I'm Wes, and you're listening to the Stranger Than Fanfiction podcast. Side effects may include, but aren't limited to, flight, laser vision, super strength, the powers of God in anime, decreased appetite, hair loss, early onset limb failure, second brain syndrome, and a growing of a massive leg. Obviously, these risks are deadly and ridiculous, so only take this podcast if you're an adult. And now, on to the podcast.
I saw good people in the school. There were really nice teachers. There was a guy named Mr. Dickman, ironically enough. Mr. Dickman.
Hell yeah.
And his nickname...
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And
hell yeah.
His nickname...
Hell yeah. Mr. Dickman, hell yeah.
We just called him Jesus. Not because he looked like Jesus.
But because his name was Mr. Dickman.
Yeah. But because he was the nicest guy in the fucking school. Literally the most like soft-spoken, generous, nice guy. But
I hope that when Jesus, if and when Jesus comes back, he has
a sense of
humor that he'll come back as a man named Mr. Dickman.
The God I worship has a sense of humor. You know what I mean?
Seriously, he'd come back as Mr. Dickman. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stranger Than Fanfiction, the show where we celebrate the fans and the fiction by reading fiction from the fans. I'm actually, once again, leaving this podcast to start a new business of Mario-themed pastries called Nintendo. I'm Wes.
I am the leaflet of Mormon, Reese.
And I am your mother's brother, son, Hunter.
And I am your best friend until you get a new best friend, Taha.
Oh,
Mother's
but
brother's
he'll
son.
always
But I will be replaced at
But
some
he'll
point.
always be your best friend.
Their cousin.
Yeah, I'm
Until-
your cousin.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
He's like,
I'm your cousin.
what is it
Hunter.
when you're
I'm the
mother's brother, but
I'm
the
the son
kid
of your
that
mother's brother?
person?
Yeah.
My-
Am I your nephew? No.
No. Am I your
niece.
dad?
Your dad? No.
I wish I had a word for it, but
You know, I guess they don't. So, guys, once again, here we are. We're gonna read some fan fiction. We're gonna dick around for like a half hour.
Yeah.
But we're changing things up a little bit today.
We are.
We're gonna make this episode. We're gonna condense things. We're
Yeah.
gonna be reading one fan fiction today, just to make the podcast a little bit more digestible.
We're doing an experiment.
Yeah, we're giving you a
I don't know. I guess I like stroked out in the middle. We're doing an
Experiment.
What's that? We're giving you. We're making Stranger Than Fanfiction
Bite size.
bite size.
It's not bite size. It's still going to be like long. We've reached
lunchable.
out. Yeah, we've reached out to people, and one of the biggest like hurdles that people have had trying to listen to our podcast is that it's very dense. We are funny. They want to hear us all. They love
We're
us.
really funny.
We're
just
so
too funny,
like,
you know?
Yeah, it's too much funny in such a
everybody's
such a
just
condensed
like,
time.
oh my god, like
and we're too attractive.
I'm almost yeah. They're
So
like
they-
now that you're on video and you're on YouTube,
Yeah.
like
It's
geez,
too much.
I
It's
can't
just
even-
too much.
Yeah.
So they are telling us that they would love it if we could do shorter episodes, and we figure the cleanest, easiest, bestest way
Just
do
to make
that
them shorter.
is just to make them shorter and cut out one of the fan fictions. Just do one fan fiction per episode, so you won't be getting as much fanfic, but you will be getting just as much of
Fic fan.
fic fan. Yeah. Hope that clears things up.
Yeah.
I want to focus on a word that you said that really brought me a lot of joy.
What?
It was bestest.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
BESTESTEST. The best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
The bestestest.
Yeah.
best, the best, the best.
I
that
unironically
song-
liked that song.
Well, no, I was gonna say redo that song, but with extra estes.
The bestest, the bestest, the bestest.
Got Bill Cosby.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The bestest.
The bestest, the bibbidi bobbidi
The bibbidi bobbidi bestest.
So, kind of tying into our fan fiction today, there's something that I want to ask you guys that I'm very curious about, and I'll kind of kick things off as well. I want to know what you think, or if you've been told, what people's first
impressions of you is. Like, just kind of like what you imagine or what you've been told. Like, someone just looks at you without even talking to you, or like they see you across the room, what you think or what you've been told people think about you. Because for me, I usually have been told, I don't agree with this. I personally think that just from across the room, I think I look like a very like straight-laced kind of goody two-shoes white boy.
Fair.
Very like,
See
yeah.
that.
It's truly, it's hard to get away with it with this supple complexion of mine.
It's true.
But what I've been told is there was actually a person that I worked with on a contract that said I was very intimidating.
Really?
Yes, because they thought that I looked like I wouldn't like them. And I was like, "What?"
That person has some
No.
anxiety.
Well, it was they told me, like, at the end of our contract together, they were like, "Yeah, like I always felt like you wouldn't want to talk to me because you just seemed like you wouldn't want to talk to me." And I was like, "No, of course not." They didn't say this like they were upset. They were just like, "Yeah, like I never really talked to you because you just seemed like you wouldn't want to talk to me." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "I'm sorry, no." And then they were like, "Oh," and then they felt really bad because I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I should have said something." And I was like, "No, it's okay."
I have a question.
You should have
And
been
then I
like,
cried.
I have a question to that point.
Yeah.
When you were told this, did you start like in your head adjusting your behavior to make yourself more approachable?
I walked around just being like, Hello. Everybody. I'm very approachable."
Let's just start wearing a sign like, "I'd like to meet you."
And walk around like,
He just becomes Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. He's just walking down the street like,
raindrops keep
Hey.
falling on my head. But what about you, Reese? What do you-
Mine's actually pretty similar. And mine I understand. Mine I get because yeah, it's basically that.
Yeah.
People see
And
me.
now that you got no hair.
Yeah, now I look
even
really-
super intimidating. Oh God. Oh, you're so scared. Reese, stop it. You're scaring all of our viewers away. Reese,
I'm watching the numbers drop right now.
our viewership. No, people think I just don't like them or I don't care
Uh-huh.
to meet them. I mean, I get that. People who know me very well, even then, will tell me like really good news, and they'll be like, "Oh, so you don't care?" Because I'm like,
You're
no,
like,
I
"No."
care, but my face doesn't. That's a big part
The
of the
rest
problem.
of me cares a lot, but
Right.
my face
This
couldn't care less.
cares.
Yeah.
This
Does
not.
My face just isn't super. I don't have a super emotive face like naturally because I can like fake it, but when I'm just in day-to-day life, if someone's like, "I got the job," then my reaction is, "Nice."
So it's not resting bitch face. It's resting apathetic
yeah,
face.
yeah. There's an element of apathy to it, and some people interpret that as like, "I don't like you."
Yeah.
There are a number of people who have told me that they thought I didn't like them when we were first
and
friends.
only 90% of them were right.
Yeah, only 90%. I mean, well, usually my neutral state is that I don't really like care for someone. It's not that I dislike or like them. It's just there's a very neutral slate when I first meet someone, and then that can very quickly shift, like like that. It's usually that I like people though, because I like people. Like
Right.
I am actually a people person.
You like people?
Yeah, I like people.
Hunter, what about you?
I think generally speaking, if I had to condense it down into a word, which this is going to be antithetical because I've been yawning a little bit right now. I slept a little hard last night. But most people meet me and they're like, "Wow, you're so energetic."
I hope they say it like that.
Yeah, they say that to me.
Wow,
They're
you're
like, "Wow, you're so energetic," and I'm like, "Yeah." But I try to, when I meet new people, just be like, I don't know, energized, and generally speaking, I want to look optimistic, because those are the kind of
when you
people.
First met me, you were like, "Hey, you want to go play leapfrog?"
You want to go play leapfrog,
And I
bro?
was like,
and
Hey,
I
you want to play tag?
I will say
in the garage.
I will say that there is a bit of
play cross country
planning.
hide and seek.
There's a little bit of planning behind that. Like, generally speaking, I want to be associating with people that are like fun and energetic. I like that. I like that.
Right.
But on days where I'm not feeling that way, I'm just losing it.
The cross country tag.
The character, the character that's like, hey, do you want to go outside and like run sprints?
Hey, you want to race? I don't know, or we could just run.
And that's
Why do you got to call me out like that?
That's actually how I met my best friend, is racing. My best friend from childhood.
Is that Ace?
We
Ace?
he challenged each other to a race, and then we went back to his house and played Dynasty Warriors.
Hell yeah. Taha, what about you?
I think they've, at least of late, I think the one, if we're doing one word, people have said I'm disarming. Like, yeah.
Because
so,
you take their arms off.
because I dismember them, yeah.
I could just see people being like,
on site every time.
Yeah, and then they're like, wow, you're very disarming.
people are just like, you're Taha, right?
It could have been the machete, but it also may have been your personality.
And you're like, you know what? You're disarming. But I like you.
No,
I like
I try
that about
to,
you.
like, in a new situation, if I'm meeting somebody new for the first time, I like to try to establish a little bit of common ground as quickly as possible. I like people to feel comfortable around me when they first meet me. I think part of that is psychological due to the fact that growing up as a brown person in
Kentucky.
in rural Kentucky,
Yeah.
a lot of times, I mean, I've been told, like, you know, I've had racial slurs like thrown in my face and stuff. So it's always this game of just like, I am as non-threatening as possible. Please just hear me out. I'm not a
nice
bad
things to
person.
me.
I
And like
promise.
you, do you like macaroni and cheese? I love macaroni.
Meanwhile-
macaroni and cheese.
Oh no! Meanwhile, Clyde down the streets, like walking down with his AR, like I'm just expressing my right, and everyone's like, "Oh, Clyde."
Oh,
Like,
Clyde, classic Clyde. You know, that's the sad part about it is that I'm. It started as me just trying to appease people that were clearly just not. They had a bad. They had a bad
They cannot
perception.
be
They were just
appeased.
kind of racist.
Yeah.
Some of them.
We don't have
And
to
some of
mince
them
words.
that even were. Yeah, I don't have to explain what this is like, but just to justify like why disarming is
Yeah.
the word that comes to mind.
And
so
then you take their arms.
and then I take their arms off. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Chewy, rip his arms off.
Free tip to
It's
make
nice to meet you.
anyone extremely comfortable upon meeting them is just start giving them a shoulder rub without asking.
Yeah, that's how I
They'll
warm.
love
That's
it,
how I warm
trust
up the
me.
process
There's
of
your
dismemberment.
STFF tip. Right there.
STFFT.
You know, I will say one tiny thing about how weird I was as a kid. I was fascinated with the individual smells of people's hair.
Mm.
And I would always be like trying to sneak smelling people's
Oh my
hair
God.
because I was like,
Nice.
but it was everybody. It was.
When did you stop, or have you stopped?
I stopped, I think, in the 3rd grade or the 4th grade.
I
May have been the 5th grade.
Wait,
I'm the
we're in the 5th grade right now, right?
Yes.
so,
Yeah. So it may still be happening. We don't really know. But as a kid, it was so innocent. I just thought like everybody's.
Would you ask, or would you just kind of go up to somebody and sniff their head?
He said sneak.
I would
said
sneak smell people's hair.
It's bad.
No, I just.
shouldn't do it.
He knew it was weird.
Here's the thing. I was like, I don't think this is bad, but I did think it was weird. I was like, I don't want to go up and ask somebody because if they tell me no, then I can't smell their hair.
Then I can't sniff their
And
head.
exercise and consent is what we're learning.
Yes, which was very important for me.
But
because,
also little boys, like you're a little fucking kid, and,
and
you don't have
I'll tell you,
boundaries.
it was very indiscriminate. It was boys, it was girls, it was teachers, it was old
Dogs,
people, dogs, cats. Cats I couldn't do. Cats I'd be like, you're, and then I'd die.
So if your kid, parents, here's another STFFT. Ignore what I said before; it was a joke, but this time is real. If your kid is going around sniffing people's hair and they're not asking for, can I sniff your hair? Then sit them down, talk to them about consent.
Exactly.
The one
You
parent
need-
listening is like,
Which-
yeah, no, this has been a huge problem. My
Yeah.
kid won't stop
Just
sniffing
sniffing
people's
hair.
hair.
Tell them to stop. It's okay that they're fascinated by the smell of hair, but make sure they know that they need to ask first.
Which
And
I
then
will
the
say.
mom is like, my son is Joe Biden.
Oh God! I will say, of all the places to learn consent, I'm glad that it was that one because it's like that's problematic, but overall relatively harmless.
Before it got bad.
And before it was like, hey, because my mom or someone found out and they were like, you can't just do that, and I was like, but it's not hurting anyone. It's like, yeah. you think that,
Yeah.
but you can't just do that. And I was like, but everybody's hair smells so interesting and different.
Yeah, just really quick button is I'm the opposite. When people would walk by, I was disgusted by other people's smells. Like it didn't disgust me. I wasn't like revolted by it, but I purposefully I hold my breath when people walk by. People I don't know because I don't want to smell them.
I do that now because of COVID.
Yeah. But like
I
don't
breathe
wanna,
out. I'm like,
yeah, I don't want to smell people's smell. Like you know how everyone has like their smell. I don't want that.
You
Keep it
just
away
want
from me.
your smell.
I want only my smell or my friend's.
That's
smells.
why you spit on everybody.
Reese
Because
Musk.
you want to smell like you.
Yeah, I want everyone to smell like me.
Well, you know what, guys? I feel like I've learned a little bit more about you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
yeah, this energetic kind persona was very creepy as a child.
Yeah.
I'm
Every kid
I'm
is creepy.
blowing myself up a little bit.
You
there,
want to swim the Atlantic?
You wanna
And
swim the
sniff some
Atlantic?
hair?
Why is this-
Can I sniff your hair while
I've
we
heard
run
the
laps?
Mediterranean has great hair to smell.
Here, run around the track. I'll just run right behind you.
I love this. All right, really quick. Last thing. What's this kid's name?
Smell hair or hair?
There you go. Smell hair. Smell hair. Run sprints.
Smell hair, run sprints.
There you go.
Everything
That's
is
my next
shaking on
D&D
Hunter's side
character.
right now.
I'm sorry, I knocked everything over.
Smell hair. Run sprints.
Jesus.
All right.
Wow.
So
Oh,
we're gonna
man.
move into our weekly prompt.
Oh my God.
Like
this
he's
is
Danish.
This is the section
Smell hair,
where
run
we
sprints.
scour Reddit for writing prompts, and we're going to create like a little 5-minute story off of this. So this prompt this week comes from Reddit user TA account 12.
Ta count.
The prompt says, people really can believe things into existence. You started the Yeti myth to drum up some business for your failing resort. People believed all of it, and now you're not sure what to do with the 8-foot creature in your living room.
So I have a thought on this.
Yeah, tell me about it.
When there were too many white-tailed deer in certain environments,
Okay.
white-tailed deer, for those who don't know,
getting
I
scientific.
love this already.
they are one of the most adaptable animals in the world. That's why there's so many of them. That's why hunting season exists in the first place, is because urbanization didn't push them out. And so there's just a bajillion of them, and there's very little greenery for them to eat from, so they just eat all of it, and then the ecosystem gets fucked up. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, they destroy topsoil.
Yeah, they ruin land because there's so fucking many of them. And to reduce the deer population in certain places, what do? They release wolves.
They
And
literally
so,
do that.
The Yeti needs...
the house.
So what is the Yeti predator that we could release into this resort so that people can watch a Yeti fight another fucking Yeti? I mean, I feel like it's got to be like another mythical
well,
beast.
like do like a Kong
So,
versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
This is
thing, but with
specifically a Yeti.
Yeah,
So I say we release
Bigfoot.
the Sasquatch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of us were thinking the same thing.
Yeti versus
It's
Bigfoot.
the
So we're
polar
starting
bear
with-
versus the grizzly bear, which are both like two of the biggest bears.
But the bipedal one.
yes,
we're
but the
start-
bipedal.
So basically, we're
ones.
starting the cryptid cinematic universe here. The
Yes.
CCU. So then let's turn this into a Kong versus Godzilla scenario here. So what do we got? We've got Bigfoot. We've got the Yeti.
Mhm.
We've got like the Mothman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Already,
Right.
you've got
Well,
like the Mothra character.
I imagine that this guy who made this finds himself, if he's sitting in his living room and he sees the Yeti's like, "You done fucked up," and it's like, I might have, but
The Yeti's some guy
but-
from Kentucky.
but yeah, exactly, it is.
You done
You done fucked up. But then the guy's like, I might have, but you might have fucked up more, not noticing the Sasquatch behind you. And Yeti's like, huh? And just moves in time as the Sasquatch appears in existence. And so they're just summoning all of these cryptids.
So then we've got Mothman.
Yes.
We've got
the Jersey Devil,
Slenderman.
Slenderman,
Slenderman.
the Mothman and Slenderman.
Did you guys watch those? Did you guys watch Slenderman? Like all? Did
The
you
video
watch
games?
No, the YouTube series.
The YouTube series.
Yeah,
What was it called? The something Hornets.
Yes.
Marble Hornets.
Marble Hornets.
Yes.
I did watch a couple
Yeah.
of those.
It was creepy.
It's super scary.
Yeah. I liked it. Anyway.
So Slenderman.
So Slenderman.
Well, now we've got this. I have an alternate route,
Okay.
just to throw out another possibility that I
Uh-huh.
think is fun. You inspired me by saying the Yeti walks in. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" what if now we get into a scenario where we've got like a grift going on, where somebody has dressed up impersonating the Yeti, all to make this guy think that he can wish things into existence.
Is this like a secret government organization?
Someone's in too deep. Someone
Yeah.
pulled a prank, and then they're like, "Okay, well, shit. Okay,
it's
there's
like-
a Yeti
it's
now.
like-
I need to."
It's like Osimo
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
South Park, where he can't stop
Yeah.
the bid, and so the guy's like, whoa, I have my very own Yeti.
I want Bigfoot.
And the guy's like,
Oh god! And he's like,
and the Yeti's
calling
like,
into agents.
oh, I hear you hear that? That's my Yeti family.
Give me 5 minutes.
He
Hold
steps
on.
outside and he like,
He just
Bigfoot's my cousin.
Super,
Hold on.
super costume changes
Wait,
like, really fast.
What if he just like, because the Yeti and Bigfoot kind of look the same. So what if he just like rips his horns off and then paints himself brown, and then he walks in. He's like,
I'm a Yeti.
I'm Sasquatch.
and the
What's
guy's
up?
like,
He's like,
ah.
what's that white strip of?
I'm an old
white right
Sasquatch.
there?
Oh,
Hide it behind his back.
and he's like, wow. So wait, does this mean I can wish anything? Maybe we should just like cool it with the wishing for a little bit.
2-wish limit.
Don't you want to hang out with your old buddy?
Well, yeah, but I kind of want to see, Mothman maybe.
Fuck.
I'm gonna concentrate.
Oh, you hear that? I heard the sound of wings. Look out the window over there. He's like, really? He's like, I don't see anything. He's like, just keep looking.
Keep looking for 5 more minutes.
You see like the Yeti with like cardboard wings, just like what right past the window, and he's like, "Whoa, he's so fast, Mr. Yeti! Did you see that?" And he comes back in, and he's like, he's got like his arm in a sling and like shit all over, and he's like, "Yeah, wild."
Mothman. Woo.
I imagine him like pulling like a Mr. Krabs, and like out the window he has like a fishing line. He's like,
Oh my
I'm
god! A floating shopping list.
I'm not a shopping list. I'm a Mothman.
So what do we want to call this story? Because are we making the grift our canon?
Dreams really do come true, but in parentheses after the do, there's an
N and T.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Dreams really do crumb. Fuck.
Dreams really do come.
Dreams really do come too.
Dreams really do come true. I just needed to say that first. And also, for whatever reason, I thought the NT was at the end, so it was in my mind. Dreams really do come true.
That's very true, not.
Yeah.
It's very true, not.
All right.
Trunt.
That was very
Oh
good.
boy.
Well,
yeah, so
that
trunt is an acronym for true not.
For true,
Or not an acronym. That, when you put 2 words together. I don't know why I can't think of that word right now.
Well, that actually this prompt kind of leads very smoothly into our fan fiction for the day.
Does it?
It does, Reese. Stop questioning me, okay?
Why?
Reese,
Guys,
can I talk to you
can't do
outside
this.
first?
So, the fan fiction that we have today is called Myth Challenge Accepted. So this here's the thing. There's a possibility that people listening to this won't know what this is about, and I feel like it's my civic duty to just kind of remind people about the Mythbusters because damn it, that show was so good when it was on the air.
It consumed a lot of my time.
Oh, it's a fun physics show.
Yeah.
It's a way to make physics and science fun.
I watched an Adam Savage video last night on the YouTube. He's still doing his own, because Adam Savage has his own channel
the
now.
work
and
he
does
does with
his
like
own stuff.
cosplay.
Like cosplay and
It's
his like
so
armor
cool.
work.
He did an Iron
Yeah.
Man test
Yeah.
because he made a titanium Iron Man suit.
Oh,
So
cool.
So cool.
Yeah, crazy how that works.
Adam
isn't it?
Savage is such a cool guy. He
Just the
seems
fact
like
that
such
we're
a nice
doing
guy.
that's a weird little simulation moment
Yeah.
right there.
So this is called Myth Challenge Accepted by Salt. This was published on June 23rd, 2012.
If you're wondering why Wes said it like that, it's because it's S_alt.
So this is Mythbusters Avengers crossover. This sees Jamie Hyneman and Adam Savage meeting up with Hulk and Iron Man, the very popular Avengers characters.
Wait,
so,
what are their names again? The Mythbusters.
Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman.
There we go. Yeah.
Jamie Hyneman. So Hunter, you'll be reading Adam Savage,
Savage.
the energetic one.
Adam Savage.
That's just people say about me, you know.
You know what can I say? Reese, you'll be Janie Hyneman.
Janie.
Janie and the Hulk, and Taha, you'll be Iron Man. So let's just go ahead and get into it because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about about Mythbusters and about the fan fiction and whatnot. Here we go.
Guys, anyone else seeing that?
Adam pointed to the sky where a dark little dot seemed to be getting bigger and closer and greener. Camera 1 shot up, focusing in on the dot, trying to keep it in the middle of the shot. Not an easy task because it was coming down fast and pretty much right toward them. A sound followed, something akin to a roar muffled by the distance. Jamie calmly stepped back into the bunker behind them.
See it.
He motioned for the rest of the cast and crew to join him. They scurried because now the roar was apparent, and that green dot had sprouted legs and arms and a very angry-looking face. The Hulk landed with an earth-shaking crunch right on top of their explosive-laden tank and proceeded to pound the sucker deep into the ground.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Adam kept repeating, expecting a huge explosion at any moment. Neither he nor Jamie nor anyone else on the team had set the explosives inside to be able to handle a hammering. They were, after all, trying to blow the thing up. Not so much like this, but there was a loud whoomp from the tank, which jumped a little in the crater it was creating. The Hulk stopped roaring and hammering, tilting his head at the pile of metal underneath him, confused. Everyone's ears rang in the sudden silence.
Huh.
Jamie said, watching a puff of smoke roll out of the main gun turret.
Guess the grenade down the hatch thing really works.
Apparently, the Hulk heard that. His big head turned, finding the bunker, eyes squinting to see through the slit in the concrete wall through which they'd expected to be watching the tank go sky high. He took 2 heavy steps toward it, sending equipment rattling and falling. To a person, everyone on the crew took a step back. And then there was another sound, like a rocket descending, and something else landed hard and heavy in front of the bunker, obscuring the Hulk from view.
Damn it, big guy. Mythbusters. Mythbusters.
Apparently the Hulk didn't like that, because suddenly the earth was jumping as he pounded the ground.
Stop, Busters! Metal Man, move!
God, sorry about this, guys.
Iron Man said without turning around to face them. He pointed a repulsor in the Hulk's direction.
My fault, totally. I think
And the repulsor went off just as Hulk threw a piece of tank at Tony's face.
I confused Jolly Green here.
Please tell me someone is capturing this.
Adam crooned, clapping his hands when the cameramen on 1 and 3 both held up their thumbs. Another repulsor blast, this time to keep the top of the tank from landing on the roof of the bunker. Iron Man was turning now. They could see that much, but nothing else. And more blasts. A growl got loud, then faint, then gone. Jamie and Adam looked at one another in relief. Then Iron Man's head appeared in the slit.
Guys, seriously, run. Now.
The door of the bunker flew open, and a dozen crew members came piling out. Just in time, because the Hulk landed on the bunker a moment later, crashing through the concrete roof as easily as if it had been made of sticks. Iron Man maneuvered himself between the Mythbusters team and the Hulk, who was hefting a huge slab of concrete that used to be a wall and was preparing to swing it in their direction.
These aren't the Hulkbusters, dude. Calm down.
Why they have tank then?
Hulk asked, swinging the concrete anyway. Iron Man caught the end of it, grunting, straining to hold on as the crew scattered yet again. Adam found himself hiding behind the SUV, Jamie behind one of the many blast barriers they'd set up.
Because
Tony grunted.
They blow things up for fun.
Hulk dropped his makeshift concrete bat, and Iron Man stumbled forward in the sudden absence of pressure, barely keeping himself from falling.
Fun?
Hulk looked around at the tank. The bunker, the cameras still pointed at him. He stopped at Jamie, just standing and staring at him, and that green expression pinched in confusion.
yeah,
Tony responded, walking over to the Hulk now.
it's a good show, the kind you'd probably like.
He reached out and touched the creature's gigantic arm.
So don't go smashing them up, okay?
Hulk's eyes turned down to Tony, and he nodded once.
Wow.
Jamie stepped forward, completely unable to help himself. He looked from the Hulk to Tony.
He's so much bigger than they tell you.
He's standing right here.
Tony responded, a hint of irritation in his voice, whirling to see who spoke. Now he stood between Jamie, well, everyone really, and the Hulk, in much the same protective posture as he'd taken facing the Hulk a moment before.
And he doesn't like being talked about as if he can't understand.
That fact was obvious. Hulk had turned great green white eyes to Jamie and was clenching his fists hard enough that his arms were shaking. Jamie corrected quickly.
You're so much bigger than the press lets on, at least.
Adam poked his head up from behind the SUV and looked for the cameras. Still 2 green lights. Yes! He waggled a finger toward Jamie and the Hulk, motioning to keep rolling. Bad idea, apparently, because the movement caught Hulk's eye, and Adam suddenly found the Hulk landing about a foot away from him, snatching him from his feet in one giant fist.
Bad Hulk! Bad Hulk!
Adam wheezed, barely able to breathe. The fist lifted him close to one big eye that studied him intently. Iron Man landed next to Hulk, again putting a hand on his arm. The squeezing stopped getting tighter, and Adam could breathe again.
Thank you.
He sighed in Tony's direction, waiting to find the ground again. But Hulk didn't put him down right away. He studied Adam for a few long, scary seconds, then spoke right in his face, blowing off the hat that had somehow miraculously stayed on when he was snatched up.
Explosion's not fun on top them.
Hulk reprimanded, giving Adam one shake before dropping him sprawling at Tony's feet. Adam scrambled to his feet and moved out of range, hurrying over to a camera that was still rolling.
Holy crap. Did we get him battering that tank into dust? Did we?
He asked, as excited as if he'd actually gotten to blow up their newest experiment.
That was awesome.
Again, a thumbs up, and Adam couldn't help but let out his little whoop of joy. That got Tony's attention, and the suit whirred and whistled as he moved in Adam's direction.
Wait, have you been filming this?
He looked directly at the cameras. Surprising laughter from Adam.
Yes!
Adam replied, completely without thought.
This is just the best!
It was Tony's turn to lift his head in confusion. The faceplate disappeared, revealing Tony's furrowed expression.
You can't use this, Little Red.
He said, putting his body between the camera and the Hulk. Adam looked back at Tony, very nearly pouting.
Why not? It's our footage, our experiment. Myth confirmed.
Pretty sure you need permission slips to use people on your show, though.
Tony shot back.
And I don't think you're gonna get that from him.
He jerked a thumb back in the Hulk's direction, where he and Jamie now stood a couple of feet from each other. Jamie kept staring, while the Hulk, obviously quite confused by the little man's lack of fear, carefully reached out and poked him with a gigantic finger, sending him 2 stuttering steps back.
But he destroyed our tank. It's not like you can just go out and buy another one.
Tony shrugged his shoulders and started to answer, but Adam made a shushing sound and corrected him.
We can't go out and buy another one. It took us forever to get the permit for this one.
Tony patted Adam's shoulder lightly, carefully in the suit.
Sorry, but the hype around the Hulk is bad enough as it is. Last thing we need is to have him seen tearing down a tank apart on mainstream TV.
Tony did actually look a bit apologetic.
But hey, your show? I'm a fan. That little trick with the phone books and the car doors for budget bulletproofing? Inspired. Helped me come up with the insulation here.
He clanked a finger on his chest and turned as if to go.
I'll send you another tank tomorrow.
He called over his shoulder, and Adam couldn't think of anything suitably snarky to say in reply.
Something stronger.
Jamie said, taking a couple of sideways steps as the Hulk poked him once more.
Give us something that can withstand a Hulk attack.
Now that would be a test.
Adam pitched in, stepping toward Jamie now, as oblivious to the danger as Jamie seemed to be.
Trying to blow up something built to withstand the Hulk?
The big guy didn't seem to take too kindly to this. He puffed and growled, poking a finger in Adam's direction, stopping just inches from his face, and Adam wasn't oblivious anymore.
Nothing holds Hulk.
He said through gritted teeth, planting that finger in Adam's chest, knocking him to the ground. Adam hit the ground, smiling, though, because he'd just had the best idea ever. He stood, dusting himself off, acting nonchalant.
Really? That's so, Hulk?
Tony saw where this was going suddenly and tried to interrupt.
Hey now, Ginger Snaps.
Adam shot him a look edged with mischief, then turned his eyes back to the green guy as he crossed his hands over his chest to finish his statement.
Because I'm willing to bet that's just a myth, big guy.
The Hulk pulled himself to his full height and roared fury at the sky.
No! Nothing stronger than Hulk!
Tony clapped a hand over his eyes and groaned, and even Jamie made a little face at Adam, who looked every bit the cat that ate the canary as he replied,
Myth challenge accepted.
Excellent.
Hell yeah. So I picked this story, one, because Mythbusters.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I wanted this to just be like a little love letter
Yeah.
to Mythbusters as a show.
Did you guys hear about, so Carrie Byron passed away?
What?
Carrie Byron did?
Yeah.
No.
When?
I think. I'm pretty sure it was her.
No, not Carrie Byron. Grant Imahara.
Was it Grant?
Yeah.
Passed away.
Yeah, Grant Imahara died a couple years ago.
Oh, sorry, Carrie. I didn't.
Yeah.
Carrie, we
I
know
was
you're
like,
listening.
And
to
Carrie,
this.
also thank you for commenting and subscribing
subscribing
to
to
Strangers in Fan Fiction.
Big fan of your show. Glad you're a fan of ours.
I knew it was one of those three,
I do
and I'm
remember hearing about
sorry.
Grant.
It was
I do
Grant.
But
remember hearing about
Yeah.
yes, it was Grant, and
Which is
I
also
was very
There was
sad.
another woman before that. She wasn't as of the main cast as Carrie, but she was a part of the cast. She was the blonde one. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was a race car driver, and she died in a
Did she
a
really?
race car accident. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or she was like a speed car, like a record-breaking speed car driver, like one
Right.
of those.
Oh, one of the
Dang.
needle-looking ones.
yeah. And I think they had an
I mean,
accident.
not to diminish the tragedy of that, but I feel like people who those people who did Mythbusters and stuff, I feel like they flirted with danger
They know.
all the time.
all
yeah.
the time.
Like I
yeah.
feel like that was something that they got the joy out of. So
they
I
did
hope
terrifying shit.
I hope that they were finding joy in what they were doing, even though they passed away early.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is they brought so much joy to so many people, like doing the dangerous stunts that nobody can do legally.
And like you were saying before, it was one of the first show. It was like in the same kind of level as Bill Nye in terms of the impact of making science, one, accessible, but two, really fun
And
Yeah.
cool.
and just
Yeah.
answering questions that even we like our crazy speculations that we go into. Sometimes we pose a question, they're like, yeah. Let's see the science behind it.
What a
Like the
brilliant-
Chinese torture, the water drip. They did
Oh,
that
yeah.
experiment. They did
Yeah.
the
I
one
remember
with
Carrie
the
was
bamboo.
like, this is torture.
Yeah,
Please
well,
stop.
the crazy part was is that she was like, I could see maybe after like days of that how the water would start to. She was like, it wasn't hurting. She was like, but it was annoying. She was like, the more scarring thing, the more tense thing that she figured out from that was being chained up and like restrained fully and shit like that because they had on like full on like manacles and stuff like that. to
Yeah.
where
I just
she
love
couldn't- she couldn't react. But either
like
way,
the use of their like ballistics and everything too
Yeah.
to show
I
the
mean, the
long-term
myths that they're
effects.
testing in the fan fiction, I'm pretty sure they did.
Yes, I
Where it's like
remember this
throwing
one.
a grenade down the
Yeah.
barrel of a tank
Yeah.
and trying to blow it up.
They one of my favorites was they were like, because they always do the wackiest shit, and they were
Oh,
like, yeah, can you knock somebody's socks off with a punch?
Yeah,
that was
that's
a good
right.
one.
And they were like, they figured out like, yeah, no human can punch you hard enough to knock your socks off, but how hard would you have to get hit to get your socks knocked off? And
Yeah.
they had like one of those big. They had a wrecking ball come down and hit a dummy with socks, and they managed to get like the shoes off, but they could never. They were like the socks are really tough to come off. And by the time they actually got to the force needed to knock the socks off, it would actually just obliterate the body. and but they
well,
explained
the
like
socks are technically off.
and there's technically well, there you go, myth
Socks are
plausible or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
right.
But I loved it because they're like that's such a wild like it's just they're like this is a turn of phrase and we're gonna show you the exact science behind
Yeah.
it, the Newton's force, like all the math behind it. So cool.
Now I'm curious because one of the questions I wanted to pose to you guys was, Mythbusters has been off the air for years. I think the last episode was in like 2012.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. But myths don't stop. They stop for no man or woman or person. Are there any myths that you can think of that have cropped up in recent years that you're like, oh fuck, that would be cool?
I mean,
to
there's
see a Mythbusters version of that.
the thing that I think they would hop on, and this is actually something that some of the Mythbusters did get together and work on is right as soon as COVID hit, is they got together to see the effects of masks, and they shared the
Yeah.
experiment that they did of like the germ transferal and like sneezing, like how
Was
far.
it like the flamethrower thing?
Well, they I don't
'Cause
remember.
I saw some people doing like a flamethrower bit where it's like flames in a mask or not. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
I don't remember, but I know they did like a sneeze myth.
Yeah.
Like to see how far germs travel while like talking and sneezing and laughing and stuff like that. And it was surprising, like especially with the sneeze, those motherfuckers, they were shocked by how far the actual like the particles, what are the fucking aerosols could actually
right.
be
The gross
sent.
germy stuff.
Yeah, the gross germy stuff. And then how wearing a mask would prevent those aerosols from traveling anywhere.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I had a thought of like one of the things that they could bust in relation to this story. I remember so in the first Iron Man film, Iron Man film. Obadiah Stane is talking to one of his engineers who is not able to replicate the thing, and he's like, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. And then pan over to the Mythbusters like, was he able to do that? Well,
in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
There was a show where they had to go to there was like another engineering show where they had access to like a junkyard, and they had to build like a car, like a functioning vehicle out of that junkyard, and then they like raced the cars.
They built multiple cars.
Yeah,
I
I forget.
teams or something.
Yeah. I forget what the show was called, but I liked it. I remember watching it.
I
liked it. That's what it reminds.
Well,
That's
because
what
like
that
a
reminds
myth
me of.
I was thinking about. It's not. That's the thing. Is I'm curious about.
They solved all of them.
Yeah, they're all done.
There's none left.
no mystery in
something
the
I was
world.
thinking about was. I'm sure, but that's the thing is, other busters have stepped forward to take their place because now with the advent of like YouTube, that's basically come a platform for if anybody has any question about any scientific thing ever.
Have you watched?
Somebody has made a video about it.
Have you watched Mark Rober?
No.
Mark Rober. He did the glitter bombs.
oh yeah,
For, like, the porch pirates.
For Amazon, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was that guy, and he was a previous NASA engineer, and he does one video every month. That's his whole thing. Is he like breaks all the YouTube rules just by making really good videos and gets millions and millions of views on all of his
Is
stuff.
he the one that made the squirrel obstacle
Yes,
course?
the squirrel obstacle course. He does goofy shit, and then some of his stuff is like it's usually explaining the science behind very simple tasks.
Yeah.
He did a video where he like shows you how to skip rocks perfectly according to science.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, we ran 100 different experiments, and I was like testing it myself to try and find the optimal angle. He's like, and then I built a machine.
we tried a lot of different rocks. We tried
Yeah.
slate. We tried pyrite.
Yeah.
We tried Dwayne.
He was like trying to find the right shape of rock, and the right, like, he was like, the shape of the rock isn't as important. It just has to be generally flat. He's like, it just has to be a generally flat rock. The most important thing is the angle at which you're throwing it. And it's not as flat to the water as you can get. It's actually, there's like a perfect angle that you can hit that is actually going to get the optimal, like, bounce off.
I'm gonna go skipping rocks now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Y'all, okay, what's the most skips you ever got?
I mean,
I've gotten like 6.
yeah, not like, it's been less like significant skips. I'll get like a few good skips and then a bunch of like
Yeah.
little ones.
Well, how many significant skips?
I don't really know.
Some sig skips.
I've sent it far. I know I've sent it like nearly across a
Just-
small
you
lake.
know what? We'll just have to go to the creek.
Yeah,
I don't know
Try
why.
that
but
we'll have a
ourselves.
rock
I
skipping
just
contest.
imagine My Hero Academia. They're all like, let's go skip rocks, and then they
we
get
can use
there.
our quirks.
Well, everybody's like skipping rocks, and then Bakugo comes up and he's like, "Seven!"
Yeah.
and it like shoots off into space, and he's like, "I win!" And they're like, "Bakugo, you missed the water."
Yeah.
And he's like, "But I threw it the farthest."
Bakugo, you destroyed the rock.
The lake is
Nothing-
the
you
lake
can't
is
There's
empty.
nothing skipping anymore.
You emptied the lake.
Oh man.
Well, guys, I thought that was really nice fan fiction. How about you? Did you like it?
it made me miss Mythbusters.
Yeah.
Did you I know that's the thing. The reason I chose it was because I wanted it to be
I miss me
a little way to just say,
Yeah, say
hey,
that fast.
Mythbusters, freaking love that show.
Thank you for making that show,
And also,
thank you for liking.
if there's anybody
commenting, and subscribing.
listening to this podcast who has watched Mythbusters, go back and watch an episode, or who's never watched it, find
Look it
some
up.
Mythbuster
Yeah.
stuff. It's so much fun.
I highly
Especially, like,
recommend.
the first couple seasons are good, but when they get like Carrie
When they get
and
the other
Grant
squad,
and-
yeah.
What
The
was,
build-
what was the other guy? I can't remember the third guy's name.
Cary Grant and
Tori.
Tori. Yeah,
Tori?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
The build team. The build team.
I had a question about this fan fiction. Is there more?
No, this was a one shot.
This was a one shot.
This is
Well-
Salt.
Well, I would
Actually,
love.
that's a lie. There is a chapter 2. It is separated. It's not like chapter 2 of this. I
Mhm.
think it's like a continuation of this idea.
Mm.
And I think it's not called chapter 2 of
Myth Challenge
Myth
accepted.
Challenge Accepted. It's called Hulk versus the Mythbusters or something like
Well,
that.
that's what my closing kind of thought about the future of this story
Uh-huh.
as it applies. I love the idea of the Mythbusters partnering up with Bruce Banner and Tony Stark and getting access to their like resources. What if Tony was like, "Yeah, you guys can have access to the 100th floor of the Stark Industries
Stark
building."
Industries.
And then they just walk in, you see Adam just like jaw to the floor, like, oh my
Because
god.
their budget for each episode was like what, $1,000 or something. I mean, more than that, obviously. But I know there were some episodes.
They had money to buy a bunch of shit.
But I remember there were some episodes where they had smaller stuff where they were like, we're going to try to build a hoverboard with $500 worth of equipment.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they bought like leaf blowers and they made it work.
Well, now there you go. Adam and Jamie join Stark Industries and become the newest Avengers. Captain Walrus Stash and
Captain Walrusman.
Captain Walrusman
and the Savage.
And the Savage.
the Savage.
Walrusman and the Savage.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And everyone's like, oh, is he like the Hulk? And he comes in and he's like a techno whiz.
just a
And
guy.
they all used improvised weapons.
Yes.
Well, one more time. This was Myth Challenge accepted by Salt.
Was this on, where'd you find this?
This was on Archive of Our Own.
Archive of Our Own.
So thank you very much, Salt. This was great, and thank you for reminding me of because I honestly haven't thought about Mythbusters.
Do you miss Mythbusters?
I
miss
myth-
Mythbusters?
Yeah, say that 5 times fast. It's so hard.
Mythbusters.
I miss Mythbusters.
Guys,
say
Mythbusters.
It was a really
That's a
crazy,
little
really crazy
Mike
little
Tyson.
simulation moment that last night before bed I just happened to have watched an Adam Savage video where he was testing an Iron Man suit, and then we come to work today and read Adam Savage.
You manifested
you?
this.
Are you?
Are you the
Prophetic?
guy who
Yeah.
makes the Yeti?
I'm a prophet. Yeah, I imagined it. I imagined
Oh,
it.
so you're the guy that wills things into
Reese
to wish
shaved
things
his head
into
and he
existence?
became a prophet. I see all now.
Them's the rules. I don't make them. I can simply see the world clear now that the hair is not blocking my
Well,
hair.
that sounds like a myth.
I can.
And I wanna
we'll have
test
to
it.
bust
now my
We'll have to-
hair is gone.
it. Yeah, you see out of your head.
Don't have
Damn
any
it, we all did that.
That's
don't
not,
we?
yeah, not technically.
Dang it, we all
in
drew that.
my way.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
On another episode of Stranger Than Fanfiction. This has been a delight to do, obviously. Do you guys have any other last minute business before we sign off for the day?
What's your favorite card in a deck of cards?
Okay,
Oh.
is it like playing cards or like
Yeah, like
playing
all
cards.
CCG
Playing cards.
Playing cards.
A deck of playing cards.
Ooh, that's a very good question.
I mean,
The
mine is-
Jokers.
yeah, it was,
Because
the Joker. Yeah.
because
Because they're removed from the deck.
because they're
before
removed
play.
from the deck, and I
And
can
nobody
use
uses
them.
them.
I can use them as throwing cards to practice throwing cards, and keep the integrity of the normal deck while I just beat up the other 2 free ones that I
Mine's
got.
the Jack of Spades for no particular reason. I just like it. I don't know
Jack
why.
of Spades is nice. I think I like the Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
Ace of
yeah.
Spades.
Just because
good.
it usually has a very ornate design.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At least on the deck of cards I remember playing with at my grandma's house when we play like Go Fish and Crazy Eights all the time. The Ace of Spades always was like this ace was like huge.
Because a
and
lot of
there was
time that's the starting card.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah,
a card that carries a special meaning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And someone
yeah,
wrote a
whenever
song
I think
about
of
it.
a playing card, I think of
You
the
think
Ace
of
of Spades.
Ace of Spades.
There's the Queen of Hearts as well. But
Yeah,
So
but she's mean.
yeah, she's
now we just gotta find a poker anime to
yeah.
watch.
Poke anime. I mean, there's
Yeah,
there's
there's-
that one.
There's
Poke-
Kakeguri.
the
Pokemon.
gambling
Pokemon.
one.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
but they
Pokemon.
never play traditional.
No, they don't
card
play-
games.
they don't play
a
like
bunch of
Texas
other
Hold'em.
stuff. But there are a bunch of playing cards in it.
You
which
could make
is-
a poker. You could make a gambling anime. That'd be so.
You can make an anime out of anything.
Have you
Okay,
guys-
Don't they have a gambling anime?
I mean, there's Kakeguri, but it's like it's about
Gamble anime.
gambling, but it's not about like poker.
Gamble anime.
Like you could have like a Texas Hold'em anime easily because all those like tournaments and shit.
Yeah.
That shit was dramatic.
after Haikyuu, after watching the volleyball anime Haikyuu, which I highly recommend checking
The
out, I
world
was
is
like,
the
okay,
oyster.
cool. Anime can do anything.
Anime can do anything it wants. Poker.
Can it give me a foot rub?
It could. There could be an anime about foot rubs. Yeah.
about giving specifically Wes a foot rub.
Yeah.
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 Anime about giving me a foot rub.
Yeah.
I just
Get
see
on
it.
it, Akira
It's a
Toriyama.
My
looping
foot rub academia.
a looping animation like of a Studio Ghibli style thing, and Wes is just sitting there, and there's like a cat on his lap, and it's just like purring and making biscuits, and he's just
Oh,
like,
man, no.
This is
Hawaii.
This is the perfect example of where our conversations can go based on a question as stupid as "What's your favorite playing card?" Out of deck of cards.
Well,
Get me out of this episode.
everybody,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us once again. We'll see you next time on Stranger Than Fanfiction. Fanfaction.
Hope you enjoyed our shorter format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did less time with these guys.
Yeah. But until we see you next time, remember to stay beautiful and, as always, stay
Stay
strange.
strange.
as well. Yeah.
As well.
As well.